have the regular cruise control on, you're going to be able to see there's going to be a little white steering wheel symbol that's going to show up on the dash. And then once it's active, there's a little button on the steering wheel itself. You push that button, and as soon as it activates, your light is going to illuminate. And then this light is going to constantly be checking to be sure that your eyes are facing dead ahead. If you're talking to somebody in the back seat and you keep your head turned and it's not spotting you, this light will turn colors, and then it will warn you that it's going to deactivate. And then once it's set to whatever the speed is that you had. Not necessarily the speed limit, because even on this stretch of the interstate, the speed limit is 70. I touched the button when it was at 72, so we're doing 72. It's going to stay at that setting unless we come up behind somebody else. If you do come up behind somebody else that is driving a little bit slower, and the vehicle sees that the left lane is open, it'll actually send you a notice. It'll give you a little display on there that it's going to change lanes, and it'll turn your turn signal on. It'll affect the lane change maneuver, and then once it passes the car, it'll do the opposite, and you'll roll back into the original lane that you were in. So the first time that it does that, it's okay to keep your hands close to the wheel, because I know everybody gets a little nervous the first time that happens, but it's just going through it once so you have a feel for what's expected. So we're going to come up on some traffic here, and since this is adaptive cruise, the vehicle is also going to slow down if the car in front of you is going slower. So if the left lane's not open, the car in front of you is going slow, the car is just going to slow down, and then once the traffic clears, it'll go back to the set speed. So I'm going to speed up a little bit so you can get an idea how the lane change works. You can manually accelerate. If you touch the brake, you will turn the Super Cruise off, and it'll shut down, and then you'll have to retake control. And usually you can always tell if it's on or not by the light that's up there. If the light is on, then the Super Cruise is engaged. So right now it's saying auto lane change. It checks the lane, makes sure that it's clear. It's going to move by itself, make the shift over just to get around the vehicle. Now in this case, ahead of us, both lanes are backed up. So the adaptive cruise is going to slow down to the speed of the vehicle in front of you based on the setting. I have this at the farthest out setting. It'll slow down to that setting, and then once the lane clears, then it's going to start accelerating back up to get back to the speed you originally had set. And again, doing that all by itself. So sometimes people ask, what happens if the vehicle can't read the road, which sometimes does happen. So you can have snowy conditions, or if there's some stuff spilled on the roadway and it can't pick up the lanes, it will give you a warning before it deactivates, and then it'll shut down. So right now it's going to move me back in the right lane because the right lane is clear, and it's keeping pace at that 72, so it slides me back over. Now, the car in front's going a little bit slow, so it may push us back out into the left lane. There you go. But you get a pretty good feel for how it works. And at any point, if you're uncomfortable, you're in too much traffic, you're nervous, just put your foot on the gas pedal. It's going to deactivate. You're going to get a flashing red light that's going to say, hey, you're no longer in Super Cruise. You have to take control of the steering wheel and drive it by yourself. So on any of the vehicles with Super Cruise, they're not. There still has to be somebody in the driver's seat. The driver still has to be paying attention to the road. On some vehicles, like I believe the Tesla, it gauges by the movement of the steering wheel. Yeah. So some people have put things on the steering wheel so that there's a shimmy to it. And there's some well-known accidents that they've written up about that, with somebody sitting in the back seat and the car's going down the road and they have an accident with it. So And then if you're in areas where Super Cruise is not available, you won't see that white steering wheel illuminated there. So if the steering wheel isn't illuminated, the little icon that's there, then you know that you do not have Super Cruise availability. So that means the road has not been mapped. And then as soon as you do get onto an area that is, it's going to light back up. And like I say, once you activate it, especially on long trips, it can take a lot of the driver fatigue out so that you're not, having to do the gas, brake, any of the rest of it. And you can have a conversation with somebody else in the car without being as worried about being distracted.